أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين الحمد لله رب العالمين. Who's here? One of your kids? Or somebody else? No one else? So let's end here and offer this to the class.
There's still more.
We have more.
And to you as well.
Yeah.
Okay? So we have been studying the verse, inshallah, from we will study from chapter 30th chapter of the Quran, Rum, and the verses, two verses actually, 17 and 18. So we've discussed on it. Now we will come to the subject. We discussed last week the verse only, actually. Now, you can read one paragraph, maybe.
From the top, do you want me to read the
Yeah,
translation?
you ask me for starts from.
So it starts,
Yeah, paragraph by paragraph. Sure.
you ask me concerning the wisdom and specified times of the 5 daily prayers. I shall point out only one of the many instances of wisdom in the times.
Okay, in the time of slow prayers. So we will pay attention that the discussion will be about the wisdom in the specific times. Not all wisdom concerning the prayers, but specific times. Because the verse is about glorifying God, praising God during or in the specific times.
Dr. Ali, from last time, I know this is a sort of a small point, but I don't see the 5 times in the ayah. I only see 4 times. So is that relevant in any
There are
way?
other verses. It is, doesn't matter.
Okay.
It matters, but as far as our subject is concerned, doesn't matter. There are other verses specifying other times as well. So combining all together makes 5. So one thing, another thing, rituals, that this is important for us to know. As far as the rituals are concerned, most generally, the Quran doesn't specify unless it is necessary, if you like, and needs to be specified. The Quran doesn't specify the rituals, leaves it to the practice of the Prophet and observe. So the people are expected to observe the practice of the Prophet. Now here, 5 times of the prayer is observed in the life of the Prophet. So, but it doesn't contradict. And in some other verses, mentions only in the morning and the afternoon too. But altogether makes 5. But if you like, confirmed by the Prophet's practice. But as we said at the beginning, it's not our subject. Our subject is why we should pray, or specifically in certain times, what is the wisdom in it? Wisdom in it. Why a specific time?
Yeah.
Yes, like each of the times of prayer marks the start of an important revolution, so also is each a mirror to divine disposal of power and unto universal divine bounties within that disposal. Thus, more glorification and extolling of the all-powerful One of Glory have been ordered at those times, and more praise and thanks for all the innumerable bounties accumulated between each of the times, which is the meaning of the prescribed prayers. In order to understand a little this subtle and profound meaning, You should listen together with my own soul to the following 5 points.
Now, if I may ask you, what did you make out of this paragraph?
That
If anybody else wants to comment on it, most welcome. But you have the priority because you are the reader, so use your right.
I think what the paragraph is saying is that each prayer is a reflection of God's power in creation, and that in a way, this shows us, the prayers are used to show us how from that point in time forward, what God's creation is and God's power, and that the times in between the prayers are meant for greater understanding of the prayers, a greater understanding of God's power in creation.
So if you want to read the text in a critical way means which kind of concepts are introduced to us, and how these concepts have been contextualized within the subject, and is there anything new for me apart from my general understanding of religion? But I have to pay attention to this aspect, and this is new for me, this kind of understanding. So what I'm simply asking, can you read the text in a critical way? Critical doesn't mean that you have to necessarily oppose it, look for weak points. If there is, attract your attention to it, so of course bring it up. Otherwise, question the text and get the real message within the text. Let's do this practice. Would you like to go over it?
Yeah.
The text says, for example, which kind of words attracted your attention? When I first read it, some words attracted my attention, and I really wanted to. There's one. Okay, to emphasize on them. Here it is.
Divine disposal of power certainly stood out as one of the reflections that can be gleaned from prayer. Start of the revolution, or a revolution, also stands out as a marker by which we can understand.
Which one? Revelation? Did you say?
Revolution in the first sentence.
Yeah. Can you tell us what is the importance of significance of the word revolution? What do you really make out of it?
I suppose for everyone it's going to have some nuance and context in how they interpret it, but for me, it seems to reflect things we've learned in this class about how every moment in time is another creation of God, that time as it moves forward is God's creation, and that each instance doesn't happen without God's bounty and power in creating. So in a way, it seems to be a milestone within a day, the prayer time, such that we can recognize that, yes, here is another creation of God as the day proceeds.
Yeah. Normally, the change in the manifestations of the qualities of the Creator takes slowly, and we don't notice. But sometimes we really notice. The best is night and day, or sunset, sunrise, and when the sun is just in the top, in the zenith up there, the day is different from the previous one. And it also reflects, or we have to take this time understanding of time change or revolution during the day and apply it to other cases, which the author is going to do that. Not only in the daily base, but let's say in our human life and Earth, the life of the Earth and the universe in a larger and larger scale. So they will be a representative of those events summarized in our very daily life. That's what.
I have a question. Since daylight also influences us physiologically in terms of our circadian rhythms change with response to the daylight, is there any relevance that we pray 5 times because it takes into account how our biology is changing in response to sunlight? Could there be that like we even pray 5 times because it's physiologically we're going to be altered with response to sunlight, so we're just acknowledging?
Yeah, acknowledging the change and responding to the manifestation is said the divine disposal. It means there is something manifested there and we have to respond back to it. Of course, the consciousness is necessary every time, but if the change really attracts our attention, we have to take another different attitude towards the change and respond it back. So practically what we are doing, we are not trying to understand when these important revolutions are taking place, but since it is established by the practice of the Prophet, we are trying to understand what may be the reason why the Prophet showed us, or the verse in the Quran, in various verses in the Quran, stated that we have to glorify God that time. We have to praise God that time. So a kind of organic integration with the universe, awareness of the existence of the outside world, and integrate with the outside world. Prayer, we usually attribute to prayer to act in quote-unquote religious activity, religious duty. But we will see that the author will not really refer to any concept of religious duty here, as if human response to what's going on in the world. We usually either look at the universe, it happens in me, not everybody's like that, but either I look at the universe and the things around us, the things happening to us, forgetting that I am a part of it. That is something happening out there, and I am the one who's judging what's going on there. Sometimes we get lost in ourselves and very much concerned with what is going on as far as my own personal world is concerned, and forget about that I am a part of the whole universe. So look at the meaning manifested in the universe and what's happening to you within the context of this universe. So we isolate ourselves in either this way or another way. Either see myself as an independent being and the universe is out there, and observing the universe as an independent being, not realizing that I am in fact a part of this universe. That's one direction. The opposite direction is sometimes something happens to us, especially when we don't like it, or when we are really excited about something that happened to me good. I don't really see that it is happening within the context of the universe. Isolation is very much within the human tendency. So this prayer, the wisdom of the prayer is not as a religious duty. It is a religious duty, but wisdom in it, not to perform your religious duty, But the wisdom in the prayer is a call for you that, look, you are within this universe. Whatever happens to you together, you and the universe. At the same time, now integrate your life with the universe and never isolate yourself from it. It is beautiful to me. Each action of prayer is a call for me to remember.
Actually, biologically, it's already happening because the way our body functions, it does respond to the changes that are happening at those times.
Yeah, this is biology.
Consciously acknowledging it
Yeah,
by
biologically.
prayer.
But prayer is a conscious recognition of this phenomenon, a connection with the universe and me. So it is beautiful to understand that most of these religious rituals are tied up with time or space connection. It means, very simply, look, we have to be aware that we are a part of this universe and we have to interpret everything within the context of the whole universe, not separating yourself from the rest of the universe. It is beautiful to be aware of what is going on in the world. For, as you said, biologically, yes, the daytime, our body functions in a way, at night, in a way when we eat, when we are hungry. Yes, biological clock in our body, and really adjusts, tries to automatically, as it is created, as it is made, automatically is in connection with our body, is in connection with the rest of the universe. That's correct. But that's how we are made. That's why we understand that our performance of the rituals must accompany with this connection between me and the universe. So I have to respond. That we will always use, as long as we study this text, prayer, or this particular prayer, prescribed prayer, not the prayer that we have to have this consciousness all the time. This ritualistic prayers means fundamentally responding back to what we are experiencing. Responding back. Well, you are having your coffee, you liked it, and how did you respond to this liking? So this is daytime, how did you respond? What did you say? What did you feel about it? So did you say that, oh, this morning it's not very sunny, it's cool, it's nice, we have been experiencing lots of hot, now it is good. That is what's one way of responding. And the Quran comes in and says, your responding must be in another way. More meaningful, more human. Human means be aware. It's not an accident. You have to get a meaning out of this particular type of creation.
I wanted to add that, for example, I don't see actually the outside almost all day long. I'm in my office. There's no windows, and so I feel a bit detached sometimes. But even when I pray, when I'm in the office, it forces me to think about what you were saying. Like, first of all, it makes me realize that I should be outside more often, because I do feel detached sometimes. Like I'm praying Maghrib now, and I'm still in the office, and I don't even know it's night outside yet. So it makes me more aware a little bit of that I'm missing something. And secondly, it also forces me to think a little bit about my day. And like I'm okay, I'm done with work, or I'm almost done with work. I'm praying Asr in the winter, praying Maghrib, and I'm like, the day is gone. What did I do today? And it forces me to think also from that perspective a little bit.
This is
Even if I don't see the-
modern life. So within the context of the modern, we really need prayers just to remind us. But at the same time, human beings have many endless other faculties. You can understand that although you don't see it, but you are sure that it is light outside, or it is dark outside, or there is sun shining outside, or moon. Even if you don't see it, you are sure. Not hypothetical imagination, but really. But you don't see it, but you are sure that this is light outside. It recalls. We have to recall this reality and respond it back, because we are on the Earth, globe of Earth, and the globe of Earth is moving. Everything is really taken care of perfectly, and we are just traveling through. We call it time. And as the time changes, the manifestations of the maker's qualities also renews itself, renew and change. And what I am making out of this? What is my stand before this reality? Because we are a conscious being. So whether we are in an office or in a closed area, maybe in the field, yes, it is more real if we are in the open field. But at the same time, for example, when you think of the creation in terms of galaxies, whether you are in the office or here, daytime, you have no idea. Practically, what you know that they exist out there. This is one. Another dimension is past creation, future expected creation. We are not really experiencing last winter, but we know that winter is coming. Winter has existed. Yeah, slowly get ready. This is the different type of creation I will understand, I will experience. It also reminds us, the text will tell us, it also reminds us that, look, I was a young guy like that one. Yeah. Is it? Good that it is. So, and I went through different phases of my life. And there are, you are young people, but there are old people. You are not old, but me. So there are old people as well. It means, old age is expecting you too. So within the context of this, if you like, spatial time relationship, you can locate yourself and see that, where am I now? And what's happening to me? Why the things are as they are, and what is my perception of these events, and how am I going to respond back to these events? That's prayer. But what really are experiencing is a momentary, instant, only a very short instant, not short even, temporary, passing instant we are experiencing. But through this passing instant, we have been given the capacity, potentialities, to enlarge this experience and made it universal. And we can make that. And if you like, it may be too early to say this, but get the universe as it is. Doesn't matter whether it is 13 something billion years old, etc., and how long it's going to. None of my business. Your capacity allows you to encompass the whole universe, time-wise, space-wise. And even you are experiencing only a section, a portion, small portion of it in your existence, but through using your human capacities, you can really enlarge it and see the manifestations in your world, which is not only imagination, not real, but remembrance, recollection of the real happened and is happening and will happen. Even you are not going to live as long as Habib is going to live. We don't know, maybe longer, but you know that the Creator is creating somebody in his age. 30? In his age. It means you are the product of a Creator who created another person in such and such age. So see the manifestations of the Creator, of the qualities of the Creator, and at once respond back to all these manifestations when you say, God is the great. God is great. Who is God now? You describe as great is the one who creates the whole universe within the whole time, although you may not really practically experience it, but you are sure of that things happening. Respond back. That is called responding or representing God's authority, or not authority, maybe the attributes on earth by every single human being. That's called Caleb, vicegerent, acting on behalf of God who created the universe in its all senses. So we may underestimate our quality by saying that I'm only one individual, but you can encompass the whole universe. And you can respond back to the Creator by saying that, look, these are all your work, your act. And when we say, Iyaka na'budu, only you alone, we worship. Who are we? When we say we, who are we?
Mankind.
Sorry?
Mankind?
Okay, what else? Do you think only mankind worships God? Or it
Everything.
means response? Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, everything reflects. By reflecting the qualities of their maker, they are responding back. It means they are performing their worship within their own capacity, through their instinctive disposition. We all know that this cup, we should know. We may not be aware. It's empty. Okay, the coffee or tea is not empty. No. So this coffee, by smelling, by being there, by tasting, proclaiming its Creator's qualities. That is its worship. Now, when it comes to human beings, since we are conscious beings, we have to proclaim the qualities of the Creator manifested in this universe within the capacity of human feelings, understanding capacity, perception. We are not like coffee. Coffee, we don't know, but it seems to be because coffee cannot really proclaim the qualities of the creator of the table. But we can, two of them. It is, we are aware of it, we are aware of this as well. So we have to use our disposition to respond back to what has been created in this world, that we are exposed to experience. That's what we are. That's we are here. I see. I don't think I see any other reason why I'm here. As far as I can understand, I see no reason apart from just let the manifestations of the Creator's qualities be turned into a conscious response back to the Creator, saying that since I am conscious being, I am a conscious being. This is why I am here for. Responding back, reflecting it consciously. Not, for example, my body reflects. Yeah, everybody's body reflects. Even you are not aware of it. Somebody looks at you and said, well, who made this God? You may just not take notice of it, but somebody can reflect on it. Your body witnesses the qualities of its creator. But what is expected of me as a human being, conscious response back to the Creator, which is, if you like, for one sense, centralized, summarized, represented within my human capacity, which encompasses the whole universe. So I have to respond back. So when I say, you alone, we worship, my we includes what? Yeah. That's why we have to perform the prayers with the consciousness of what is going on in the universe. We cannot ignore that it is sunset, and my prayer has nothing to do with the sunset, but only it is the time frame, the prophet. That is a little bit problematic. The prophet performs Maghrib prayer when sun sets, after sunsets. So I have to follow the prophet. I'm following the prophet. While I am praying this sunset prayer, Maghrib prayer, I never refer my prayer to the sunset itself. It's not a religious activity because you obeyed the pattern of the prophet. Because you are missing the point. You are just imitating a man. That man performed the Maghrib prayer as a response to what he has experienced there. Either in real term or in the office, they didn't say, but he is sure that it happened. It's happening. Responding back as a human being. If I don't imitate, if you like, follow, not imitate, really take lesson from his behavior, in this sense, what I am doing, I am imitating the narration, following it, forgetting the way of the prophetic life. It means sunnah. So sunnah is missed, but narration is kept. That's why in these discussions, I insist on using this word. We have to be conscious of what we are doing, not imitating. Although the prophet performed at that time, I learned it from him that I have to perform my prayer this time as well, but the purpose of the prayer is not imitating him, but getting the message from his behavior, trying to understand and relating it to myself. That is another different You have to go.
I have to go.
Oh, you
Can
are.
I take this? Or is this?
No, take it. You can pay for it later. Of course you can, it's for you. Okay, shall I see you? Unfortunately, most of the time, I know. Let me complete this very important framework before we go further. Unfortunately, most of the time, we see that religion is reduced to imitation. And of course, those people who don't like imitation opposes religion. Knowingly, unknowingly, but we don't know. But it is a legitimate reason for those people who oppose religion, because it is not human, or it's not expected from human beings to be imitators. That's why in our language, in our behavior, in our presentation, we have to be very careful. So if someone says, "What are you doing?" "I'm praying." For example, let's say sunset prayer, or in the morning, Fajr prayer, daybreak prayer. And why do you wake up this time? Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam woke up and performed. Sounds very religious. And we say, these people are crazy. This religion is meaningless. A man woke up in the morning, so they wake up because he woke up in the morning. It is just ridiculous. And they reject religion because of our attitude. So you have to explain that this man woke up in the morning in order to respond back to the sun daybreak and see what he's experiencing and what he's seeing in this particular action happening out there, integrating with this action and using his human qualities to give a meaning to it. And I really see that this action is meaningful. That is why I am also communicating with not the prophet is there now. I am also communicating with the daybreak early. So I am also expressing my human feelings in the reality, or as a response to what is going on up there, and becoming aware of my position, my location in the universe. This is very important. We usually don't think that where we are. I keep saying that on many occasions, but this is very essential. We don't know where we are. We just think of the world from our own perspective, saying that I've got a job, I didn't have a job, I have this income, I live in this address, etc. I ask some funny questions sometimes to people. They answer only very selfish, isolated perspective. Where are you now? They say, I am in New York. They don't say that I am in existence. Yeah? They think that existence means my being physically being here. But I'm in existence, man. I exist.
You want us to answer this way?
Yeah, that's one.
You're late. Where are you?
I'm in existence.
I'm in this.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Don't worry.
Yeah. So,
You're symbolic
we-
right now, right?
so we forget that
We're living.
we are living beings, conscious beings within the context of the whole universe, not only space-wise, but time-wise as well. That's why our life projects are so limited, so narrow. We make projects only until we die. Maybe if you are a little bit family-oriented person, my children and my grandchildren, that's it. But we never realize that my existence doesn't mean this, because 3 generations ago, everybody went and nobody remembers them. Who remembers the name, even the name, nothing, no memory, only the name of his great-grandfather? I don't. Forgotten, taught. You will be one of them. It means that you are nothing. It doesn't mean that you are nothing. No. If you define your life within the context of your immediate people or relationship, if you like, material relationship with the things around you, you are reducing yourself, your human values, to almost nothing. Because something is going to be perished, definitely you are nothing. But if you see yourself as a part of the whole universe, which is created by a, how do you say, awesome, great creator, you cannot even imagine. And you belong to him together with the whole universe. We belong to him. When you say only you, we worship whole universe. Declare your glory. It means that is prayer. Otherwise, if you say I am Muslim, I believe in the Prophet as my guide, and Prophet told me and presented that I have to pray when the sun breaks until sun rises. So in between this an hour or so time period, I have to do certain actions. It is sunnah, it is fard, whatever. Put lots of names, religious names in it. It doesn't make your prayer religious at all. It's dangerous, isn't it? But it doesn't mean that we should ignore it. No. Get the sunnah of it. Sunnah means prophetic way of life. Prophetic way of life is try to understand what he meant by doing that within the context of his message. You can. Because he came with the message very simple, La ilaha illallah. God is great. Glory be to God only. We praise God only. That is his fundamental message. So you have to give a meaning within the context of his own message to his activities. So try to understand. He did something within the context of his main message. What did it mean really for him? So that I will learn from it. If you don't personalize it, don't make it your individual stand, I don't know what you are doing. Under the religion, the title of religion, appearance of religiosity, you are not really following the Prophet. Now, time for questions. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. She has been.
It was answered, not so long.
Good. Hard question is passed, so your turn. Oh, no, it's forgiven. She is not forgiving anybody. So. Because we have argued since Wednesday. Please forgive this person who asks, apologizes for his mistake. Otherwise, God is not going to forgive you, even you apologize. Yeah? So be careful. Yeah. So you will turn me from down.
I'm sorry. So
I will give you.
This chance. That is also another revolution. And thank God. Yeah.
So I really like this idea that the wisdom of prayer time is about awareness that we are part of the universe. but isn't it a bit paradoxical that the way we pray today,
The way?
the way we pray today,
Hmm.
is like following a very human conception of time. Like if I want to pray Asr, I'm going to check the calendar until it's at 4:48. I don't know. So I don't know. I feel that we are still there, like going along with what was being said about I'm in my office and I'm praying and I have
Yeah.
no idea what.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's something fake in it, in the way we're praying, as in following Asr time is 4:48 and Dhuhr is, I don't know. Like
We are
So how do-
learning here. Yeah. We are learning. We have been. We should have been learning every moment, but especially in any class, which is something to do with religion or idea, belief, etc. We are learning. So, what are we expected to do? While we are learning, we should expand our perspective. In this way or another way, we should expand our perspective. So now do we realize that, look, even if you are in an office, you take the time, not only I do it because it is a matter of faith, it is a matter of consciousness, awareness. We have to increase our awareness. But if you hear this beautiful phrase, it's a matter of faith. But if you really think about it, it means nothing. Think about it seriously. We say it's a matter of faith. What does it mean really? It means almost nothing. Not almost. To me, it means nothing. But we have to increase, develop our awareness of what we are doing, what we believe, and why do we believe in what we believe. We have to develop it, we have to learn, we have to work on it. That's only an unfortunate matter of this age, not only this age, but later generations, ages, centuries. We concentrate on the relationship between me and the sources, and in order to imitate the sources. The content of this, whatever we learn from the sources, is taken for granted. It's not studied, it is not discussed. Because the faith or belief or one's religious identity is taken for granted. We are not like Christians, we are not like Jews or Buddhists, we are Muslims, we do this, they do that. Let them do this, but we will do this because we are Muslims. This attitude actually hindered the path to investigation. Since we are aware of it, we don't reject or exclude other parts, but this neglected path that we have to emphasize on. This just neglected path. They don't deny it, but they don't emphasize on it. So we have to emphasize about it. We have to increase our awareness. We shouldn't just reduce it to faith, which means, what do you mean by? Really, believe me, I don't understand when they use the word faith, what they really mean. Really mean it, consciously. It means what I feel from the way they use, I trust. Trust what? Trust what? It must be within your experience. Otherwise, why do you trust? For example, I trust Brother Habibi. So why? Because I have some sort of relationship so far. I've never seen any action which may cause in me a sense of suspicion. So I take it for granted that so far throughout my relationship with him, I have no reason not to trust him, but it is again out of my experience. Not I have faith in something, that's why I do that. So do you say, for example, you want to go, let's say, to the metro station. You know that metro station, you have to take this way, one way. So let's have faith and go this way, opposite direction. Do you do that?
No.
Have faith? I don't understand what it means.
Yeah, usually lies blind faith, I feel like.
Yeah. But conscious awareness must be based on your personal experience. So as a result of personal experience, for example, when I read the Quran, when I read the Bible, whatever, when I read the sayings of the prophets narrated to me, what I do, I relate it to myself and say, it means this, huh? I analyze it within myself and then accept it. If I cannot make sense of it, what I say, I don't really understand what it means. But since I have no reason to declare that it is a false statement, it's wrong, etc., but I cannot pretend as if I understood it. That is a delicate subject, but at the same time, we have to know the foundations of this attitude that blind faith has no validity in our life, and it means nothing. But at the same time, I have to investigate more and more, and understand it within my own being, and make sense of it within my own being. I cannot imitate anything about which I have no conviction within myself through using my all human qualities. Anything, but imitation is not human.
So I feel like everything you're saying, I'm getting confused with what the causal relationship is. So when you say, we're not supposed to be imitating, we have to, from my understanding, like start somewhere, right? And usually when you grow a child, you like imitate to learn things. And you're saying like we need to find meaning in the way we pray and not just do it because the prophet did it, but we need to do what the prophet did we need to imitate him in order to understand any meaning. So I'm getting caught in like the circular reasoning, and I'm not sure where your criticism like of imitation is supposed to start for people in their life. Like,
I understood imitation. So I didn't understand the word.
Imitation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like what I mean
You
by
said something afterwards. Okay. Paraphrase it and say
I'm kind of confused, like where your criticism of people like imitating prayer and worship of God is supposed to really, where in their life are we supposed to start developing the non-imitation and finding meaning? Because that's where we're supposed to, from my understanding, the causal relationship here is like we start with imitation to understand anything. Like as growing children and things, we always imitate
how old
first
are you?
and start to find meaning later.
No, don't hit it. But are you a child?
Sorry?
Are
No,
you a
I'm
child?
not. No, I'm
No,
not.
so we are not related.
At least
child.
legally,
So they
I'm
don't
not.
hear. No, don't think of it in terms of a child growing. We are talking to grown-up adults.
Yeah.
But you say causal relation. Look, causal relation is, as far as our responsibility is concerned, towards the creation, towards the way we are created, is correct. We have to see the causes in order to get the effect by obeying the rule of the Creator, which says, okay, if you are hungry, you have to eat. Simple example, yeah? So this is a child, he has to hear. If he doesn't hear, he doesn't know. But at the same time, I have a free will. I have been given the free will in order to investigate further and further and further. So see the meaning. So, for example, you can see the meaning in every action. So why don't you try to see the meaning in the action that you have heard that the prophet performed? So if you don't relate it to yourself, what are you doing? As a child, if your father gives you a piece of chocolate because you prayed with him, you like to pray next time to get the chocolate. And it develops an habit. But as a child, it's okay. But when you grow up, do you have to remain as a child? When you develop your own profession, as a child, I used to do this and stop being an adult and still acting as a child. No, we develop. It increases our capacity or our potentialities, and we become aware of it. I don't think you are confused. Maybe the way you have been hearing, it's a very, if you like, primitive way of presenting religion. It contradicts, of course, what we are saying with the superficial presentation of religion. But I think you are intelligent enough to understand that, of course, I have to try to see a person's activity and apparent action or language within the context of his position. For example, a person, one of the guys here, comes and tells us, go, people, go out. What do you do? You go out or just look at him? Okay, we will go out. Don't worry about it. Yeah? If an authority comes here and says, go out, what do you do? You go out. So every word, every action makes sense within the context. So this is essential. This is very essential. When you read the text, a sentence from the Quran, a narration from the hadith sayings of the Prophet, what do we have to do? Investigate authenticity of it. No.
If it sinks in.
Just a minute. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, authenticity is, that's enough. We had enough of it. Everybody is talking. Sorry?
Put it in the context of what I'm reading. Like if I'm reading the Quran from the context of this is the word of God, then I'm going to think of it in a different way.
Within the context of the purpose of the speech of God to me. So within the context of the purpose of the Prophet as being employed to teach me what the Quran theoretically tells me. So he put this into practice. So if you read a hadith without taking this into the context of messengership, into the context of messengership, you are not reading the hadith. You are reading a historical record. Nothing to do with the prophetic mission. Unfortunately, this aspect is not emphasized enough in the culture. That's why we are struggling a lot. It goes against the way we have been taught so far. It is not wrong, but it lacks the main, if you like, main vein, main blood in it. So we have to contextualize it. When the Prophet did something. By definition, what it means, it is a messenger of God who represents the message to me. So within this, if you like, capacity, with this capacity, messengership capacity, he is acting in this way. It is his personal response to the creation out there when he prays. What do you have to do now? I have to personalize it for myself, because it is the sunnah of the Prophet, practice of the Prophet, to personalize the message he receives from the Quran, from the speech of God. What we say that the sunnah is to do this and that. That's what we have been hearing. Is it wrong? No, not at all. But the real sunnah is personalizing the message of the Quran and responding in his prayers. As the verse we studied last week, you were here, we studied, we have to glorify at a certain time. We have to praise the Creator at a certain time. We have to glorify the divine names manifested in this time as a response to their manifestation. That is the personal activity of the Prophet. So if you want to follow the Prophet, follow his way. Personify, personalize it. His way was personalization of the message of the Quran in his practical life. If you don't personalize it, take it as a personal responsibility for you as well, or personal thing that you have to do. If you are not following the Prophet, you are imitating the outward form. But this form lacks inside very essential message. It means, let's say, can you really isolate the Quranic message from prophetic activities, actions, or the Prophet's actions? Not prophetic. This is prophetic, but the actions of the Prophet. Can you ignore the Quranic background from its actions? It's not a prophet then. It wouldn't be a prophet then. This is an unfortunate case that this aspect of the prophetic mission is not widely practiced. And when we put any matter we study, not only today, we have always been doing this. Now, contextualizing it within the message of God and see it as it reflects itself in the creation and make it real for myself. That is the purpose of the revelation. You know, God says something, why doesn't he say this? Why does he give this guidance to me? Use it in this way, you will see that it is really true. It means personalize it. Doesn't mean that people take it to extreme, that are we going to be are we going to interpret the Quran as we wanted, every person who is entitled to the Quran? It's nothing to do with what they are saying. Personalizing the actions of the Prophet within the context of the Quranic teaching. So we have to personalize the actions of the Prophet within the context of our understanding of prophethood, messengership. That is not an alternative, but this is only an extension of the content of the message of God, not alternative. What we are doing is not an alternative to fiqh, if you like. Fiqh. Do you understand the rules, the Sharia? This is not an alternative. It is extension of it. It is practical side of it. It is real side of it. Contextualizing the actions within the teachings of the Quran. So something like, somebody is really busy. Yeah, okay. You can have this other one, don't you think? Hmm? You can give. Offer it. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, somebody at this appreciate.
He likes the cups.
Do you see the significance of this subject? Importance of this subject? Yeah. We have to do
Quickly
that.
summarize what I think you're saying. Like on a practical level, like when people are trying to practice faith. So when you're when you're very small, when you're born, when you're a child, you're imitating. But then we should be developing as we grow. The most important aspect of what we should be doing is developing why we're doing what we're doing. Why are we doing it the way the Prophet did it? We have to constantly ask ourselves what the meaning of it is to then realize that we're doing it in a personal way as well.
Make it personal.
Right, okay.
So, were you born in America?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you learn English by taking a course?
No.
No, we just learned them. The children, that's the way the children learn.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you take English literature class, high school?
Yes.
Why? It was your mother tongue.
Well, it's required to graduate.
It's a tricky answer. So, but look, the way we learn the language from our mother, we don't realize as a child. We don't realize what we are learning. We just use it, if you like, instinctively, right? But later on, we have to take a course about about this language, the language which is your mother tongue, to use it properly and make sense of it. The grammar, the eloquence of it, the literature beauty in it, etc. You have to develop it. Make it your conscious choice now. And you mean it now when you say something. When you are a child, without meaning it, you use it automatically. If someone has been taught while he's a child, he or she is a child, it is just automatic. So if someone says, I know English, so I am qualified to have the title of, let's say, an English literature teacher, because I know English. No. It is not your acquisition. It is just given to you. You cannot ask for a credit for it. What your credit will be counted on, you take the course, you learn some essential things or whatever the subject is taught to you in English literature class, and then you get A, you say, I've got A in English literature class. That is your acquisition now. You can get credit for it. So, although we emphasize on the importance of teaching the children while they're young, this is the responsibility of the parents, not the children. But as children grow up, like you guys, and then you have no right to ask for a credit for it. That's a bad news for those who are grown into a family, religious Muslim family. No credit for it. You have to make it your own choice or your own decision. Somebody else wanted to.
Just wanted to follow up on what you said. So the prophetic way teaches us to personalize the message. And
Yeah, we have to understand that we have to personalize it because of the definition of the mission of the prophets. Look, why do you follow a person? Let's go Muhammad, Jesus. No, as a person. That's why I'm not saying alayhi salatu wassalam. So Muhammad, Jesus, Moses, whatever. Why do you follow that person?
they seem to be comfortable in their existence.
Yeah,
And I wanna
comfortable
learn.
with what? With what?
They're filled with, like life, existence. And so
they
you want to learn from
yeah.
them?
So the message they carry to you made sense to you, and it demonstrated to you that this whatever this person is saying and doing seems to be in harmony, in integrity with what I am seeing in the universe and my own life. So this man is teaching me something essential to my existence. That is the belief in the prophethood. If you have this consciousness, otherwise you're following the prophet as you learned from the childhood, brings you no credit.
So what is the prophet actually teaching me?
I don't know. You have to see it. You have to see why do you follow this prophet or that prophet or this person or that person. For example, let me give you another example. You are studying the physics. I don't know who is the best name, the contemporary physicist, well known.
Stephen Hawking.
Sorry,
Stephen Hawking.
I don't understand.
Stephen Hawking. Why is
His name is
that?
Stephen Hawking.
Physicists or cosmologists.
Yeah.
Oh, Hawking. Let's say okay. So if you study Hawking's theories or explanations, if you are convinced that this man explains the physics or any matters related to the subject of discipline of physics in the best way, you say, I am following this guy. Because you're satisfied that he is really teaching something makes sense to you. So you have to ask the question, why am I following Muhammad? Or, for other traditions, let's say for the general body here, Muhammad. Why? His teaching made sense to you, should have made sense to you. So you say, whatever he says makes sense, And I admit that. So his actions need to be understood by you within the context of his teaching. If you don't really understand and comprehend the actions within the context of his teaching, and that's why you are doing it within the context of his teaching, as much as you understand, of course. No one is the top expert on the subject. But we have to develop our understanding of his teaching within the context of his, or I made a mistake. We have to develop our understanding of the meaning of his actions within the context of his teaching as much as we understand. Now, at this level, I understand this much. And then I have to develop. There is no way to stop it because his teaching opens up to the absolute source. Acknowledging the absolute source is an unending, infinite journey. So we have to carry on. We have to understand the message he brings. So locate the actions or sayings he did and narrated to us within the context of his teaching.
When you say within the context of his teaching, what does that mean within the context of his teaching?
Yeah. For example, why do you, I think we have to go back again to the beginning of our discussion. Why do you follow Muhammad? What was the reason for you? That is the context. If, I'm not being personal, of course, if you don't have the context, I don't know what you are doing. Because you are referring to the action to what?
I'm sorry, I'm referring the action to.
To what? Because if you are not aware of the context, that this man needs to be followed by me because blah, 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 blah. For you, everybody has his own reason. So this teaching, what I say, the teaching you received from him should be the reason for you to follow this person. Be careful about it. It seems to, some people may say that is rationalizing religion. No, nothing to do with rationalization. Being aware of what you are doing. Awareness, use your human qualities. Human qualities, not only your reason, they're all human qualities. As a human being, ask yourself, why do I follow the Quran? Why do I follow Jesus? Why do I follow Moses? Why do I follow Jewish tradition, Muslim tradition? What? For you, what's the reason? If you just follow what or imitate what you were taught since the childhood, the example earlier on we used, you get no credit. Because it is just, you are taught your mother tongue like that.
So if I follow a certain person because his teaching makes sense to me, would it be fair to say that to me, it looks like his teaching is universal?
Yeah, okay. If it must be universal for you, at least, at a certain level, of course, at a certain level. We cannot say the absolute level. No, at a certain level, it makes sense to me up to now. And I understand that his teaching is quite universally applicable and confirmable. But the point today we are talking as respond to the creation. The prophet responded to the creation. I did something wrong. Let me correct it. I shouldn't spoil the text here. Okay. He did an action. Definitely, you have to contextualize the action within his teaching. What we do usually, generally speaking, in the present culture, Islam is our religion. Muhammad is our prophet, representing this religion. And the Quran is our book presented to us through Muhammad as the word of God. Now, do you agree with this? Yes, I agree. You are done now. You have to do what Muhammad did. This missing this organic relationship between me and the person I am following is not very much in the agenda of the people. That's what we want to concentrate on it more.
So the teachings of the prophet is not universal then?
Why?
It may be because if it makes sense to me, I will follow it, and then I will say, hey, this makes sense, and so to me, it looks like a universal teaching. Otherwise,
yeah, it is true.
Otherwise,
Universal then. What do you mean by universal then? Universal for you. It means universally acceptable for you. Not everybody. Did you mean that a universal means everybody?
So what I mean was like, okay, if I look at this cup, right, all of us are looking into it. I may see something else. Asma may see like, oh, it's purple. I may see, oh, there's like water in it. Aisha may think it's like plastic,
No,
you know? So
there's a confusion.
Okay.
Yeah, the word with universal means you can, if you see the teachings of the Quran, fundamental teachings of the Quran, it means the worldview of the Quran. Does it make sense to you? Can you keep the door open, please? That makes sense to you.
the worldview that the Quran is presenting to me.
It says the universe has been created. There is an absolute creator. That's what the Quran itself claims. says. So my power is endless, absolute. The Creator is saying this. Can you confirm this within yourself? The teacher is universal for you, because there is no exception in the world that there should be no exception in the world that God created the universe, but He didn't create this one. Can you say that? Then you don't need to follow the Quran, because the claim is false according to your understanding. Other people that decide for themselves. I'm responsible for myself.
Okay, so I'm still stuck. So to me, universal means that everybody can extract different meanings out of it.
Can relate it as far as you are concerned. But some people may not relate the message to himself. That's his choice. Everybody's free. But you understand that it matches, it corresponds to your human capacity. Yourself. You have to decide for yourself. That this claim in the Quran makes sense universally, with no exception. Universally means, for example, let's say God created the earth. Okay. This sentence must make sense to you universally, means, yes, this mountain is created by Him, this mountain is created by Him. But you find a mountain, according to your understanding, it's not created by Him. Then this is not universal. That's what how I understand universal. For yourself, not that everybody should agree. It is impossible. Everybody has free will.
Right, and I didn't mean to say everybody necessarily have to agree, but they may extract something out of it.
That's their business.
Right, but
You are responsible for your own extraction.
so to me, that's what universal means.
For you,
Right.
not the other human beings. Don't speak on behalf of other human beings.
First is what distinguishes the designated prayers from the more general prayers.
Distinguishes?
The designated prayers, the 5 daily prayers, from the more general prayers. For example, if I drink this tea, I would be appreciative to the person who prepared it and to the Creator, of course. But what is just that? What makes the 5 daily prayers more significant, other than that it was prescribed? That's the first one.
Other than?
Prescribed.
That's what the first sentence said. Keep your second first. First sentence said important revolutions. Start of an important revolutions. You were here at the beginning, were you not?
Yes.
Yeah, you were here. Very good. Excellent. So, important revolutions. We said every time, every moment is a demonstration by the Creator. And saying that I am an absolute creator. But that is general. But we are not very much aware of every moment new creation. We don't really see them in newly manifestations every moment. We don't see. We get accustomed with it. But certain times of the day, as representing the certain times of the universe's periods of existence, certain times in our daily life, certain times in the year, representing these slices of different from each other, not similar. For example, do you make the distinction between 1 hour ago, the universe, and now, unless it starts raining? If you really follow the movement of the earth, of course, but practically the position of the sun, or if you really measure the length of the shadow, then you say, something is changing. No one does that. Only some experts in the subject. Otherwise, practically, we say today it was chilly from morning until evening. Yep. Or today it was hot. We speak in these terms. So what what the specific times of prayer is, the reminder us of the continuous change by certain radical changes taking place in our daily practical life. In the morning, the sun in the middle of the in the sky, and around sun is going down. You see that the effect of the sun is losing its effect, diminished, and then the day is coming to an end. Not yet, but if you look at my age, you say this man's age is approaching the end. Yeah? Yeah? Don't you see that it's getting old? He is better to take an health insurance. That's what they say. Yeah? You advise it. So you see that. And sunset. Daylight is gone. The sun is not there anymore. And another type of manifestation. The man died. This man was yesterday walking here. Today, he can't do anything. Doesn't it give you a hint that real revolution, the real change is always taking place? So respond back. This is what we did now. Morning prayer time, Dhuhr prayer time, Asr prayer time, and Maghrib prayer time. Now, when the sun sets, you see that, it's a change. But if the night dark really covers everywhere, what's going on? And of course, it is beautiful when the sky becomes really dark, another world opens up in front of your eyes. Yeah. Stars. I never seen that. Yeah. When we die, we will see the stars. I've never seen this before when I was in the world. Reminds you. Right?
Makes you more mindful
of
passing of time.
Yeah. So these are, I think, the key point, key word today was, we discussed this. The times of prayer marks the start of an important revolution.
It reminds me of the Quran, even like one of the names of the Quran is dhikra, like a reminder, or the Prophet Nadhir or Mudhakkir, a reminder.
Yeah. So reminder what the reality is, but not only. Of course, we discussed this. We covered this in the beginning of our discussion today. This reminder helps us to integrate our existence with the rest of the whole universe. Because every time, most of the ritualistic requirements in Islam tied to time or space. Prayer is time. Fasting is tied to time. Yeah, in month, and also from morning, early, of course, from a daybreak or twilight until sunset. Hajj is tied to what? Time and space. Be aware that there are other places in the world, not only New York. Don't say that only New York exists. No. There are other places. There are other peoples. The other people will come from other parts of the world. You say, we don't really. We say that we care. Let's say the people in New York, but there are other peoples as well. There are other parts of the world as well. Become aware of it. Yeah. Zakat also yearly, what God has graced me with, blessed me with last year. Every year, time bound and somehow space, but related to your immediate properties. I see that all of the rituals in Islam, including what the Quran teaches, Quran always refers to, when it says something, refers to historical events, to creation itself. The mountains, the night, the day, and the camel, the ant, the bee, the spider, the cow, and human beings or plants. Not only the dates, of course, we have to contextualize it. In that particular area, date. Here, something else, but still of the same sort of creation. Also, we cannot isolate ourselves. We cannot ignore our environment at all. We cannot isolate ourselves from the rest of the universe at all. Where? Within our prescribed rituals, always connected to our environment. You give zakat to other people. Who are they? The poor one. Where are they? You have to investigate. Look at other people, what they need, right? So they are all integrated. Yes, second question. Sorry?
In relation to the first one, in terms of personalizing one's faith, right? Like the example that you gave about the prophet, when he responds to the daybreak or sunset, he prays at that time. If we were to personalize it, we're supposed to derive the principle behind it. And so in that sense, why should his realization dictate when we should respond to God? In other words, why should those designated timeframes be the only timeframes that we should respond to God? And if that's the case, that's more of a forceful type of thing, because it's forceful because I am limited to these timeframes and not my own.
Okay. First of all, your definition of the prophet, again, almost parallel to the question. Your definition of the prophet plays the role here. Why do you say that this person is to be followed? That's why contextualization is essential, we said.
The principle should be
Sorry?
the principle, not the imitation, like you said.
Yeah.
Right.
So it depends on your perception of the prophet. Why do you particularly choose this person as your, if you like, pattern of life? Why? So you have a reason, but this reason may be at the example primary school level or college level or I don't know, postgraduate level. But definitely somebody has some reason, otherwise meaningless. So something stimulates your understanding that this person needs to be followed. What is the reason for you to follow the prophet will be the context. So you have to bring the actions of this person within the context that you have. But you may say that I don't know, those scholars know it is escaping laziness. Scholars, if they don't go and be students of the scholars, learn better. But ultimately, it should come to you. Do you understand? Again, it will be your conviction. So your contextualization will be within your understanding of the prophet or the Quran or religion, whatever the religion you follow. It will be within, again, your understanding capacity. We are not talking about the fiqh matters that we have to understand the Quran, make ruling. No, make it a personal, practical matter for me. When I am performing my rituals, I have to be aware of what I am really doing. So you don't have to do. The Prophet is not really dictating, as Brother Ahab said before, just a while ago, said, Prophet doesn't dictate you, reminds you. If you like it, you follow. If you don't know. Yeah.
But it means that they say the time frame, not the.
Of course. If
I understood. I understood.
So if you think that he is employed to teach the message of your Creator to you, how to make it in the best form to perform in your life, this message, to make this message practical for you. If your understanding of the Prophet is the best example of the practical side of the message, then you follow it. Otherwise, you don't have to follow it. If it is not within your understanding, why do you follow it? It's meaningless anyways. It must be within your understanding, but never forget that this understanding has endless levels. So according to your level, of course, we cannot get out of our level. According to your level, we have an understanding. But it must be our aim to develop, to increase this understanding level. That's why we are here. We didn't come here for the only cupcakes, you know. It is an expensive cupcake. It would be an expensive cupcake. So stay here for 2 hours almost, and then spending a lot of time, and even the transportation, etc. It's really very expensive. So no one comes in for a cupcake. I don't know about this guy. I really, you look like everybody is talking about you and they love you. What? Can you tell us your name? Secret. Top secret. No, there is no FBI or anything here. No idea about anybody. So anyway, I think today what was the most important thing, the rituals should not be imitated only output forms, but contextualized. They need to be contextualized within the teachings of the whatever the Quran, the Hadith, whatever. That is the way of following the prophetic path. Because prophet's life is practicing, putting the Quranic teaching into practice. And personally, he acted as a representation of humankind. Look, you can act like this as well, but as I did, in order to put the message into practice. We usually forget about putting the message into practice side of it. We just follow the output form of it. This output form is correct, but will have value if only it is contextualized according to our capacity within our personal life. That is the really crux of what we have discussed this morning. It's beautiful. That's what we need. We don't hear much about this aspect of Sunnah. We keep Sunnah. And especially it's correct. People keep saying that we have to follow the Quran and the Sunnah. That's correct. And this is the Sunnah. Yeah. So, now let's finish this paragraph with this. We have a few more minutes. One instance of wisdom in time. Sorry?
We finished the paragraph, we're at the first point.
Yeah, no, we are not going into the first point. The key words here, we have been trying to read practice a critical reading. So keyword, another keyword is, so also after, yes, like each of the times of prayer marks the start of an important revolution. We really did that spend a lot of time on it. So also is each a mirror to the divine disposal of power. So see the word as a mirror. Yeah, as a mirror, reflecting what is it reflecting? What is it reflecting? Divine disposal of power represents mostly God's qualities, because we encounter the manifestation of power first. And then, this power is taking place within knowledge, and this knowledge is wise, expand the other names. But power means the Creator's qualities, generalize it. And to the universal divine bounties within that disposal. So this disposal of the qualities of God, it means divine bounties, the universal divine bounties. For example, when you see that God's mercy arrived you in a cup of water, you drink the water, you said, the one who created this water really knows me, provide this for me. That we experience that and say, okay, the other person is drinking water as well. God's mercy is there too. So rain, God's mercy is there. Atmosphere, seasons, God's mercy is there too. Even not the season. For example, without the solar system, Earth cannot be in this position. And in this, the atmosphere cannot form by itself if it wasn't really in relation with this, within the solar system, the sun and the Earth relationship, and the other planets, the moon, etc. Yeah, they are in relationship. So we cannot say the moon is there independently existing. No, moon it has an effect on the Earth, and Earth has an effect on the moon. What does it mean? They are interrelated. So your cup of water represents the universal divine mercy. Expanded. Don't be selfish. And also, I call it, it may be, and it may not sound as a kind language. Don't be cheap. You are a human being. Be generous. Include all the universe within yourself. You can. Be universal. You can. It's beautiful. We really use ourselves in a cheap way. We are wasting our human qualities. So that was another point that I wanted to share with you. Thus, more glorification and extolling of the all-powerful one of glory. It means really the one who manifests his all qualities have been at those times, those specific times, and more praise, more praise. It isn't that only praise the time and forget about the rest. We know that. So we have to be conscious of it as much as possible. But these particular times of the day is just a reminder for us. They are the reminders for us. And more praise and thanks for all the innumerable bounties accumulated between each of the times, which is the meaning of the prescribed prayers. Now, if someone says, why do you pray? Never say, I'm a Muslim. The Prophet did so, and we have to do it. It is one of the pillars of Islam. These are meaningless, really meaningless. But say the meaning of prescribed prayer is just praising and glorifying, presenting our thanks to the grace we receive through the manifestations of the qualities of the creator of this universe. I am just responding back. And the best example, Muhammad did this, and I see the point in it, as much as within my capacity, as much as I can, I am responding. Yeah. For example, if you are a student at the primary school, your teacher asks you a question according to your capacity. If you give the right answer, you pass the class. Really, the last point, hold on, the time is passing. Now, last point. To give a right answer is not the right answer is not the point. Be careful. But searching for the right answer is the point. When we say ihdina siratal mustaqim, guide us to the straight path, it essentially means I need to know what the straight to truth is. Please, I need it. Guide me to the straight path. It doesn't mean that I will have the straight path. Do you understand this? Always feeling the need for it. Because the right answer at the primary school is different from at the high school, at the college level. Are you seeking for the right answer? That is the point. Yeah. So if one says, I've got the truth, I am sure of it, first, he's telling the lie. That's not true. The second, he is ignoring his reality that he is needed to get a higher level. He is denying his reality that he is needed. So, looking for the right answer is correct. Claiming that I got the right answer is false. And it is not what is it we are expected to be or to have. So we are trying to get the meaning of the prayers, prescribed prayers in certain times, but we will never claim, not because I got the right answer, but I shouldn't. No. We must be aware that we are always looking for the right answer, asking for the right answer, but we cannot claim the right answer. That is very general knowledge nowadays. Everybody knows no one can claim to have hold the absolute truth. That's true. Because absolute truth, if you know absolute truth, it means you are God. You are the creator of the world. So, as a created human beings, we should know our limits, and we should be aware of the meaning of the prescribed prayers within our own capacity, with no claim that this is the absolute one. This is the correct one. Okay, now he says we will study this point by point, inshallah, next week. Inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.